Love him or hate him, Kenny Carter has been a focus around the Speedway world for about the past 50 years or so. He's a controversial rider, and he was one of the great riders in Speedway history. And today we're going to hear some of the fans, what they have to say about Kenny, their experiences, and what happened, and how Kenny influenced their lives.
Saw him in LA. He was damn fast, but his own worst enemy at times. It was sad to lose a talent like that. A brilliant talent. Saw him regularly for the Diamonds when he was just 16 years old, on a loan from Halifax, clear that he was destined for the top. Was my hero when I was a kid. I was in the fan club, and I had a Kenny Carter racing jacket, which I still have today. Probably should have been a world champion in Los Angeles. Trouble was, his anger got the better of him, and he lost his temper instead of just concentrating on other riders as well. Probably, if he had focused on the task instead of picking a fight with Penhall, maybe he would have been a world champion. Watched him win the British final on a wet track with a broken leg, winning races from back to great performances. Watched him win the British final on a wet track with a broken leg, winning the races from the back, great performance. Loved him, fantastic rider. A brilliant talent without a doubt, but flawed. Saw him ride many times. A great rider, a competitor, fiery at times, plenty of actions always. As a young lad, he was my hero. I remember Kenny Carter turning up at my family party, and my mom asked him if he would come and talk to me, and my mouth went silent as Kenny Carter talked to me. I had nothing to say. I was very nervous that Kenny Carter was talking to me. A great rider, exciting to watch. He was my hero. I hung around him in the pits just to get a glimpse. One of the best riders for the Dukes. Nothing could stop him from racing and winning except Bruce Penhall, LOL. Rumor was Bruce may have come to the Dukes, but the Heathens got him first. I saw Kenny race at Ortonton, at Halifax on Saturday nights, at Bellevue, riding for England, at White City in '82, in the overseas final. He was absolutely a class act on a bike, an incredible talent. A right character said what was on his mind upset a few, lol, but he could back up what he said. Out on the track, I wish someone could have helped him more back then, managed him, take some pressure off of him, keep him focused on his speedway. One of the greatest, without a doubt, was Kenny. A great rider, a close friend I will always miss. Loved our chats about speedway. I miss you, Kenny. Saw him ride at Birmingham. Total class. I love you, guy. Great days. Great rider and fearless. First saw him ride at Cleveland Park in 1982 in the National League versus Young England Challenge match. Took a full 2 seconds off the track record. Shame what happened at the end, but a great rider. Saw him race at Reading quite a few times. Saw him at Fox Hill a few times. Had a big crash, and there was a star of Angela. I saw Kenny ride at the Shea in the early 80s, and he was my first speedway idol, and cherish all my memories of those great days. Great days indeed, and fearless. Used to speak to him a few times every time he rode at Cridley. I took many photos. I liked him, and he was always pleasant, and I loved his passion, but his dad was a bit of an arse. I saw Kenny ride at the Shea in the early 80s. He was my very first speedway idol, and I had a really crush on him. Always remember him winning at the British final at Coventry on a wet track with a broken leg against team riders and opponents. He was my favorite English rider. A brilliant rider, so full of determination, self-belief. Unfortunately, when you read the accounts from other riders, he was a bit unhinged. I really enjoyed watching him ride, though.
Thank you.